Hey everyone, it's Eamon Strongshin Targaryen. Here with a part 2 video for map making for Total War Attila Basics. Obviously you should still have both of these installed. You're going to click the assembly kit, beta, and then it should take you to your folder. You're going to go to TED assembly kit. And we're going to go over some basic terrain, modifying it for map making, to help make your maps look prettier, unlike the last video I made. So once this loads here, started. Alright, as always, you should have these two things pop up along with it. You have two monitors, put it on the other side of your screen, otherwise a little bit of a pain, but you need that property editor. Actually, do not lose that property editor. And then I always hit new map, battle, put it at 5. I do anyway. You don't have to. You can leave it at 10 if that's what you want. Alright, we've got that done. We're gonna go change it to Mediterranean because I like Mediterranean, but just to make sure it doesn't glitch with the terrain, we're gonna do this a couple times. Alright, one more time. Alright, we're gonna start with the basics here. Map blending. Map blend is where you add like different types of grass. If you wish to have different types, you can change it, mix the grass types if you would like. If it doesn't freeze on me and crash, it shouldn't. There we go. Let's see here. There you go. You can paint it and mix the type of grass if you want. There's all different types. Alright, now you can see different mud here. You can do mud. Another thing I should note is people can use mud for roads. I do it, depending on what kind of mud it looks like, but that's a fast way to do it in roads, they should say. And then forest. Here's the thing about forest. When you place these down right here like this, these in-game will count as a forest. You can hide troops in them. You do not have to do anything to make them work. They just work like trees or forest would. You can put whatever kind you want. If you want to mix some trees, mix and match. Alright, you got your forest down. Now, let's say, actually, continuing with forest here. Let's say you put a little thing like that down. That will count, spawn some trees in, and your troops will be able to hide in that. Obviously, that's not realistic. So, this is not the way you should do, like, scenery trees, if that's what you want to do. That's where that vegetation tool comes in. And under create, you're going to go to vegetation. And you're going to hit select trees, because you're going to want to get your trees. It doesn't really matter what kind of trees. Chestnut, let's go there. We can add some dead trees in there. Sure. Let's get some maple trees. Why not? Hit OK. Alright. We're gonna put. Let's see. Change it to a brush. Let's see. We want to put a tree right here. We want to increase that neighbor limit so they're not all. Well, there you go. Let's say you want to have dudes hide, or just scenery trees. You're going to place that down. Just like that. And hold on a second. This is how you make it bigger. My bad, gentlemen. There you go. Let's say, obviously, you don't want all of these. You can select them all by going to the select tool and then hitting the delete key. That still works in this tool. Let's say you don't want people to be able to hide in these trees. But you're not done once you add these. They're not going to be able to hide in them. Nobody, once you do it the vegetation way, they will not be able to hide in this. You'll have to do this though. They will not, you will get an error if you try to export your map with trees like this if you don't do this. You have to add an exclusion zone around it. So you gotta click here. Well, this is a little big, but you want to make sure your exclusion zone has all the trees included. They have to be within the exclusion zone for it to work. Now you're gonna go. Another thing I should have done at the beginning is at the root. I should have added a child layer where you can. Oh, I actually hit remove. Forgive me. Let's see. What is it? Oh, you double click to rename it. Trees, veg. You're going to select all this by holding shift and then left clicking and then click and drag. And there you go. Your trees and stuff are in there. And now we're going to add another child layer. And we're just going to call it deployment zones. And there you go. That's how deployment zones. Just so you are aware, the paintbrush, anything you do on the paintbrush does not show up in the property layer. Property layer is for adding trees and buildings, anything in the create tab, really, anything down here. So real quick, we're going to go over height map. There's a few ways you can do stuff. You can change your brush, use one of the default brushes. Go in here though. You can add like specific ones, like you can use this mountain one. We're gonna increase the scale. My brush would like to work. Oh, I see what's going on. Scale. You need to increase the brush scale. I messed that up, everybody. I apologize. Go to brush scale. That increases your mountain. There we go. The scale is how fast it will go from slowly descending. So if you want it to be kind of a gradual instead of fast, you can kind of do it this way. Granted, if you keep clicking and you have a PC like mine where it does not like you clicking fast on this tool is very old and broken. A lot of times it will crash and break things doing it slow. And there you go. Now you got like a little hill next to this different type of grass. You can make it about a mountain by just clicking and holding left click, or you can increase the scale, which increases the flow of it. There you go. Faster. There's your mountain. Very quick. Now let's say you're happy with this and you hit shift. You can smooth it out and it'll help smooth the terrain out and it'll look less. I'll try to help fix the inclines. But there you go. There's your little mountain. You can also do subtract, which, believe it or not, does the same thing, or does the opposite. You can subtract. Let's say you're not happy with the mountain at all, and you just kind of want to reset it. You can go to absolute, and you'll want to change this value. You can manually type it in. Since I think you put your terrain height at 5 or 10, you're going to go 5. Oh, and there you go. It will flatten it out. And there you go. You flatten it out, and hopefully the tool doesn't crash, because I don't know what it is with the newer generation Ryzen, but when you try to do anything with the newer generation, this tool does not like it. My older PC, this ran a lot better. But anyway, that's kind of how you add terrain. We're going to go back to add, though. We're going to make an actual mountain or hill. Try and do it quickly. Oh, another thing I forgot to go over. Now that we have added our hill, we're going to kind of move on. But that's kind of how you quickly do it. You just got to play around with it. Another thing I'd like to go over is, let's say you want to add a road. I use mud sometimes. It just kind of depends on what I'm doing. But this mud looks kind of like a road. Go with that. We're going to go with, bam. There's your road. However, this will not count it as a road in game. This will probably count it as mud in game. So, this will also tie into the vegetation, but you will need to go to ground type. Let's say your trees right here, these bad boy trees. You still want people to be able to hide them, but hide in them because you manually added them. You can actually do it this way too, where you can paint like hideable trees here. Now granted, you might just use the forest for that, but you can do it this way too if you add manual trees in. However, what we're looking for is road. Now the pain in this, and maybe there is a better way to do this, because the issue I have with this is you kind of have to know where you put your road. We're just going to kind of wing it here and hope my road is this way. And this is how the game will identify it as a road. You know, it all works the same way here. You don't normally need to do it for water, as far as I'm aware. Don't need to. I haven't had to yet, but in case you do, you might need to do it for scrub too if you want to do it for scrub. Anyway, you know, to use clear, this is if you want to delete, obviously. I think that's about it. So we're gonna make another little hill real quick, mountain. Just gonna smooth it out. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, when your tool's brand new, if you just started this tool, to fix your problem where it's got like weird staticky looking edges, I forgot. Sorry, I should have said this at the video, or beginning of the video, but, you're gonna go down to, I believe, it's one of these. I know some of you are gonna have that staticky, I want to say it has something to do with the water. I can't remember. I gotta find it. Give me a second. Why can I not find it? Water plane. Yes. Water plane. If you see this at the when you first load up the tool, I am so sorry. This is helpful for helping like with rivers, but if you don't want to see that, just turn off that water plane. I should have definitely gone over that in the previous video, but I forgot that I've changed mine, so there's that for you. Now you do that in property, settings, drawing, settings, and very bottom water plane. Anyway, back to adding a hill real quick. Disgusting looking hill. Let's see. Alright, we're happy with it. Let's just say we're happy with this. I'm going to go to our deployment zone 1. We're going to click create battlefield zone. Or, I know that's not true. Don't listen to me there. I'm going to deployment zone editor. And you're going to change it to 4v4. Leave it on, I believe, team, or was it attacking team, I believe is 0. Alliance ID 0. And then we're going to put, I could be wrong though. Do not I will not die on that hill for that. And pow. There you go, you got your deployment zones. Now keep in mind, everybody, if you don't add the guerrilla exclusion zones, which I will go over in another video, if someone has what do you call it? Guerrilla units, jeez. Guerrilla deployment units, you will be able to put your troops right in front of them. Normally, I will go over that in the next video to make sure I have that 100% correct in how you do it, but you can fix that so nobody can guerrilla deploy like between here. So anyway, we're gonna test this in game real quick, just before this tool decides to crash on me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I made a video before this and had this almost done and then it crashed on me. So here I'm restarting it. put 4, 4, leave it on the land. Don't care if you want to add all that, you can. Video test 2, name video test 2. I'm going to be a little more mature this time and not call it poopy map. And then we're just going to hit dense forest plains for the background edges. And here we go. I will tell you guys to save every 15-20 minutes. I think last time I told you like 30-40. No. I'm pretty sure this video is only like 20 minutes long and it crashed. So, but always save. Just always save. Even when you think you shouldn't save, you should save. And you're going to be waiting for about 5 minutes for this. I think in the next video, guys, hopefully I kind of have more what I want to do for a map. Kind of made this in the same day as the first one, so it's kind of a continuation, but this is to go over kind of the tools, or the paintbrush, and create on vegetation and hills and all that. I think the next one we're going to actually make a map. I'm going to sit there, show you what I do. Again, that one I imagine I might get critiqued on quite a bit because there's a bunch of ways you can do things. I'm sure there's better ways on how to do it, but yeah, I just kind of want to see the community grow and make maps, because I don't like making maps, I'm going to be honest with you, but I will make them, and I think it's one of the easier tools to learn than messing with like DB and 3D modeling or any of that. So I mean, the tool's there for you. The problem with this tool is it's just ancient and it runs like crap, and as I said, it crashes quite a bit, so it's quite infuriating. But I'm glad to show you guys. I would like to see more maps community, even if like they're okay looking maps, just be happy with it and free them, let people try them out. I think it's crazy that we don't see a lot of mapping, considering how easy it is. I know people want to use custom buildings and stuff. I did say I'd make a video guide on how to do that, add like TDD, extract their buildings and all that. So if you're making maps for Dawnless Days, you can extract their buildings, and I'll show you how to do that too. I've also made a pack file where I've grabbed all the Rome 2 stuff and thrown it into Britannia, and you can use that stuff. And I will share that with everybody at some point. And actually, if you downloaded the Eldorath mod, I think the terrain or one of those is the building pack, has all the buildings that you need from those games, so you can actually use them with the editor here. But that's a little bit more complicated. I'll show you guys that in the future. Goal right now is just get you guys used to using basic Attila map making. All the buildings are included already, so you shouldn't need anything for that. Now, I also should say, while we're here, as I haven't made a map in like 6 months, so if you see me struggling a little bit, it's because I'm going off of memory. Like I said, mapping is not what I do. I don't like doing it, but I will do it because obviously people want to play on maps. As I said, I do every form of modding except campaign modding, and so that's why I'd like to consider myself a jack of all trades. Might not be perfect in everything, but can get by. And I'm willing to help anyone, help be proficient in anything. So looks like our map finally exported, so we are good. And we're gonna go to our Total War Attila folder. And we're going to go Assembly Kit. We're going to just click here. In case you guys aren't aware, click here. Go to Assembly Kit. Retail. Once again, your maps are exported in retail. And they become a pack file, which we'll go over more of that later. But here we go. Here's our new map. We'll go by date modify. There we go. Look at that. As you can see, it's been a while since I made a map. Last year was the last time I made a map. So, let's see. We're gonna go to copy. Go to Total War Attila. Click there. Kapow. Done. Now, let's test it in game and see this beautiful creation. We'll even leave the other one on. You know what? I do realize that I should probably shut this music off. Noticed that in the last video I had left that on, but anyway, we'll pick our video test 2 map. There's a big road. See, you can kind of see where I defined the road itself. You can kind of see it there. You can see the mountains and the trees that are already part of there. So we'll go look at it in game. Oh, look at those bad deployment zones. Yeah, that's why you make sure you do them along the edges properly. Oh, and I forgot to do the one thing I told you guys to make sure the facing is correct. So make sure you go back, let's say here, make sure you go to your deployment zone and change the facing. I cannot emphasize that enough. Where are you facing? Turn it that way. And then change it that way. And then you would just hit, for testing, just to make sure you guys kind of understand how this works. So you're going to hit Save Battlefield. You're going to hit this. We're going to do Dense Forest Plains. We're going to hit, yep, you would like to replace your previous one. So we're going to wait again. Unfortunately, I messed that up, but at this point in the video, you can stop if you wish. Nothing crazy to look at. Probably end it after this. I'm just going to let it load, show you in game. If you want, you can just look at some of my Game of Thrones units, because just share with that. But we can actually look at the map in game, view it. You'll be able to see how it looks, because honestly, while you guys are making these maps, I think even I still have this issue where I don't realize how big this map is. Like, it feels small because you're really high up, you're getting the sky view of it, but like once you see in game, you might think that mountain looks small or hill, but it's a pretty big, can be anyway. So perception is an issue that I struggle a little bit with this tool. But as you play around with it enough, you'll figure it out. Oh, I forgot. It takes this tool, man, forever. So I'm going to mute my mic while we wait for this. Alright, everybody. It looks like it's finished with its, well, close. There we go. Now it's finished. We'll go test it again. Alright. Go back to Attila. Bam. There. Video test 2. There you go. Go try this in game. Now, another thing too with saving it like that can cause issues if you are trying to play your own map against other people, and I'll go over that in another video, but it's hard to explain right now, but don't worry about that. It's only if you save it 1,000 times it can cause issues. My own experience, but anyway. The famous Dornish versus Tyrell, because if you know anything about A Song of Ice and Fire, they do not like each other. And the units are not balanced, so don't even look at the stats. This is just showing off the map. Look at that. There's your got reshade on. So remember, I put stuff in the trees here. They could be hidden. I did kind of manage to guess this correctly. And there's a road. It's also mixed with mud. But there you go. There's your hills. You know, some of it's really steep, so you can't go up it. The steeper it is, you know, your troops can't go up. So, you know. Yeah, so you won't be able to go up there because it's really steep. But yeah. There you go. Now look at the... But as you can see, they are defending. They're facing the correct way. And voila, everybody. Get some of the... Oh, they're moving. You guys can get a good look at it in game. This is upcoming release, I should say. Fixing a lot of my old version of this mod. As some of you know, I made an original one like 2 or 3 years ago. But anyway, that's it for that map making. As you can see, maps in game. You know, obviously you gotta make it more pretty, but that's just you playing around with it. I appreciate everybody today for taking the time to watch, and hopefully you learned something today. Thank you. Bye-bye.